Our next session brings together experts from diverse disciplines to discuss the future of education. The education gap remains a critical challenge, making it essential to build a cross-generational ecosystem of learning. With technology advancing rapidly, how will children cope with constant change? I just got a newborn myself, so it's a very interesting topic. And for parents and older generations, how can they upskill and provide the guidance needed to support the younger generation? All of these questions will be explored in the session How Research and Innovation Are Redefining Lifelong Learning. Our first panelist is Dr. Krayot Patprawat, Managing Director of the Equitable Education Fund Thailand, an independent organization that drives research and solutions to tackle educational inequality. Big round of applause. เชิญท่านแรกครับสวัสดีครับท่านที่สองครับ The second panelist is Associate Professor Chaipat Chunharat, Head of the Cognitive Clinical and Computational Neuroscience Lab, King Chulalongkorn Memorial Hospital, and Faculty of Medicine, Chulalongkorn University. สวัสดีนะครับท่านที่สามครับ Our third panelist is Professor Dr. David John Ruffalo, Professor in the Department of Physics, Faculty of Science at Mahidol University. And the moderator who will lead this session is Dr. Monchai Lertsupiwong, Deputy Managing Director, KBTG. เชิญครับสวัสดีทั้ง4ท่านครับ The stage is yours ขอบคุณครับ
Okay, now we are in the stage, and today we will talk about education, right? And we have only 30 minutes, so we will select good questions for everyone. So I will start with the first one. In your opinion, what is the most significant idea about lifelong learning that research and innovation are challenging now? I would like to give the first answer to Dr. David.
Thank you. So I'd say the most important idea is the idea of non-formal education and training. So these are some of the Mahidol University programs for lifelong learning. These are programs at the university level. There are also many programs at the level of individual faculties. And we also have the Mahidol channel as a video channel for the whole university, and Rama channel for Ramatipati Hospital. Then for Mahidol University programs, you'll see we have the MU All Courses, and there's the menu on the left, so you can choose what type of guidance you want, what kind of student you are, how you want to study, and so forth. We also have the Center for Life Integrated Learning, and Mahidol University Extension, with over 100 massive open online courses, or MOOCs. We have an example here on the right from our department about astronomy and stargazing, and over 400 small private online courses, or SPOCs. Then at the graduate level, for master's or PhD students, we have the Mahidol Apprenticeship Program Curriculum, or MAP-C. And actually, individual graduate degree curricula can generally accept non-traditional students as well. For example, in physics, a few years ago, we had a student who had spent decades in the insurance industry, and he said he wanted to come back for a PhD in physics. So we accepted him, but there's some risk in this. He actually didn't come, but we're willing to take the risk. We welcome non-traditional students. And Mahidol also has a specialized Institute of Innovative Learning. And also, unofficially, most research groups welcome people to come learn and contribute to our research. And we organize various outreach activities with training or seminars. So if you're interested, feel free to contact individual faculties, departments, curricula, or individual researchers.
Thank you for Dr. David. He's mentioned about the idea of non-formal education and training. What about Dr. Chaipat? Can you share the idea?
Yeah. Dr. David make me feel bad. I didn't prepare any slide from Chulalongkorn, but I think you can try to Google and see a lot. I have a feeling that this day people can get access to online courses, but one of the most important idea that I think it's essential for true learning is that you shouldn't just be knowing the materials, but you should be able to do something about it, and later on becoming something. So there's three layers of learning, in my opinion. One is very easy to find, is knowing. The second one is a little harder to do, is be able to do something about it. And the third one is super important and the hardest to get, right? To make it more concrete, one kid might know what is the piano, and then they might be able to see people playing online, and that is just knowing about how to play piano. The second level would be they will be able to play the piano themselves, but what you want the kids to feel is not just know the piano and be able to play piano, but they will define themselves as a pianist. So I think in this day that we have lifelong learning, we want lifelong learner. And the learning part is very crucial, that they have the passion to do, right? Like just what John David just said, that they get inspired by the materials and they want to be something. So at this day, I think we should move past beyond the content of the materials, trying to inspire kids to how to be a learner in the future. And I think that's the most important idea.
Okay, thank you so much. Let's move to next question about education gap, right? Which is a big challenge right now. How can research area like education policy, brain science, and technology work together to give everyone equal learning opportunities? I give the first speaker, Dr. Grayot, to address this one.
Thank you. Before we identify the research question and the agenda, I think we need to know the current situation in Thailand first. As you can see from the slide that in the education system, we have both the challenge on the economic side, about poverty, about inequality in our society. And we also have the problem on the health side, about the problem of disability, problem of a number of health issues of our population. And also, you can see that from the slide that a number of schools, a number of households across the country still find itself in the difficulties in terms of physical and how they locate in a very challenging area for quality education. However, if you go to the next slide, in our latest attempt from the government policy on ODOS scholarship, we are tasked to identify about 1,200 students who are living in under poverty line. You can see from the top graph that these 1,000 and about 1,200 kids living under extreme poverty, on average, their parents earn less than 3,000 baht per month per person. However, those students perform excellent in the top 600 science-based schools across the country. They are one of the top schools in Thailand, and most of them, you can see the graph, is a completely opposite side. On the top one is a right-hand skill in terms of economic situation, but on the bottom one is a left-hand skill that they perform more than 3.5 GPA in the past 2 years in their high school. So they are among the top to become top scientific researcher in Thailand in the future. So we have these students who, despite the inequality in their economic and family situation, they still perform excellent in education. On the other hand, if you go to the next slide, we still, in the latest research, we work with the World Bank and Thammasat University and National Statistical Office. There are a number of population in adult between 15 to 64 years old. They are inside the workforce, but they still lack of basic literacy, digital skill, social emotional skill, which is very important in the current competitions in the labor market. We still have a lot of work to do in our human development for Thailand to become competitive in the global arena. So this is the situation of Thailand education gap at the moment.
Okay, thank you so much. So Dr. Grayot already addressed the challenge impacted from household income and academic performance with a set of skills for lifelong learner. What about Dr. Chaipat? Can you share your opinion on this topic?
Yes. So from my perspective, I would like to stress that there's two aspects of impact on kids' education. One is from the internal, which we call growth mindset, that despite all the struggles that the kids would have, both financially and maybe family and everything, some of them still be able to perform really well. As you can see here, that you have C2 graph. One is how good they perform in language task on the left, and how good they perform in terms of math on the right. You can clearly see that the dotted lines always fall above the solid line, which means that kids with growth mindsets perform better in both languages task and math task. But you can also see that the socioeconomic status also matter, because you can see that the graph is growing from left to right, which means that people with rich family would perform academically better than people who have poor family background, right? Interestingly though, if you look at the dotted line, the point of the dotted line on the far left, it is as high as the solid line on the right, which means that the kids with poor family would do as well if they have growth mindset compared to kids in a rich family with fixed mindset. So there's two things that we need to do, both in terms of empower kids to have growth mindset, and how to do that is it's a challenging topic. But we also need to close the gap in terms of financial family as well. We shouldn't just say to the kids that, despite all the poverty that you have and struggle that you have in life, just have growth mindset and everything would be fine. You probably have to do both, like something like scholarship that Ajahn said earlier. It's super important. And if the kids have that, there's another study on the right that say if the kids do well in one particular topic that they get trained and they start to have growth mindset, it really changed the network in the brain in the way that they have, and now be able to learn a new topic a little better. So you need to do both from internal and from external.
Great. And I think I would like to ask you more in details about the graph that you show right now. Can you explain a bit about how to understand the growth and the fix in this graph?
Oh, in this case, they just use the questionnaire and how to define kids into two groups. But I think if we have technology and things that we can assess them further, maybe we can look at the brain signal and try to be able to disentangle kids with fixed and growth mindset and how they perform in certain tasks.
Yeah. And how large for the sample size that you think is a sufficient and is good number for measure?
In this case, many thousands, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very nice. Okay. And what about Dr. David? Yeah. Can you share your opinion about this the gap on the education?
Yeah, so we can classify lifelong learning as for amateurs or professionals, and then the challenges involved. So the technology for lifelong learning is here already, and extensive content is available. And this is ideal for amateur enthusiasts. If you just want to learn something, you can go on Wikipedia, YouTube, AI search, or so forth, and very easily find something just for fun, read about it for a while, and when you've had enough, you can just stop. There are challenges, and there's room for improvement in our outreach to prospective learners. We need creative communication and marketing to reach the people. And among the learners, we need better awareness and readiness and a drive. There are psychological blocks for people to complete an online course or an online learning of some sort. And sometimes the framework is unclear. So if you're in a school, it's very clear. You're supposed to show up and learn and do the tests and so forth. When you're trying to do it by yourself as a lifelong learner, then you need more discipline. So that's a challenge. And there's a special challenge for lifelong learning as a professional. There's lagging societal acceptance of non-traditional learning, especially in terms of accreditation. So accreditation may be based on memorization or rote learning to pass an exam. And that's definitely easier in a traditional framework. Again, people set up a framework where you show up, you go to class, take the exams. And it's more difficult to do that in a non-traditional framework. So socially, I'd say it's still advisable to enter a traditional degree or training program. especially if it's geared to prepare for accreditation or professional exams. And these programs nowadays are available for lifelong learners. So even if you're older than the other students, you shouldn't feel ashamed and just, they'll certainly accept you to join their program.
And assume that right now I have a kids, right? If I want my kids, to be like a good learner, yeah, can you share based on your information? Like 10 years old kids, yeah, can I be with her and teach her to be a lifelong learner? Can you share from your experience?
So one challenge is that they don't have much time. We usually want the kids to be in school and then they don't have much time for other things. I have seen special cases of homeschooling where parents have brought the child to come listen to our lectures in the university or try to enter research at a young age. But it is challenging because the schools tend to take up a lot of time. But nowadays, there are a lot of research-like programs for youngsters. For example, the Junior Science Talent Project, organized by NASTA.
Yes.
So there are ways that students, but they tend to try to keep them in the normal schooling program and have additional projects.
Yeah, and I would like to ask the same question to Dr. Krayot and Dr. Shepat about lifelong learner at work. Can you share that? Is there any impact or is there any way to convince them, to be
Yeah, I think I've heard that to be a true learner, that you need to have a focus on certain topic, and then you have an opportunity to dive really deep into one particular topic. So it's not like you have to. So one version of lifelong learner would be that I would learn pretty much like everything that's available online, and there's so much to learn, right? So that's also interesting, and that also interesting, and you learn about everything, and you don't stop learning. That's one version of it. But I think the other version is to focus on certain topic and really dive yourself really deep into that, and you go as deep as you can, up to the point that you have a feeling that whatever it is, whatever you don't understand right now, you have an ability to find a way to understand it at the end. So I think that's very hard to accredit, right? So it's very easy to say, oh, you know the topic, and then I'll test on you and whether you remember all of that. But I think that for certified as true education, you need to show that whatever topic that you don't know, you can find a way to really understand that. And I think we can start that in kids as well. And once they understand that, oh, that's how I learn, now the next time that they see a new topic and they'll be able to find their way out of the unknown, I think that is super important.
So you mean they're learning how to learn?
Yes, that's summarizes my description really well. Yeah.
I think apart from that, very useful comments. I think the availability and the affordability of this learning opportunity is really crucial when you talked about the marginalized population group, how we can make sure that it's equitable to everyone. So that's on the supply side. But then on the demand side, if you are able to understand what they really need, what is the end goal of this learning experience, what kind of occupation, what kind of jobs, what kind of future they want to be. So with that clarity in mind and this availability and affordability of the learning opportunity, if that is matched between the supply side and the demand side, then I think we could have equitable learning opportunity for all. Yeah.
Oh, thank you so much. We have a lot of information on this. So the next question about future research. We think about that if we have a time machine, right, to go to the future. For example, next 5 to 10 years. What is the one research area that you are most excited about, that you believe will have the biggest impact on the future of equitable lifelong learning? I will start with Dr. Krayot.
Yep. When I see these questions, AI is something that is really, as economists, I would say, is capital intensive to invest. And anybody know anything about capitalism, you would expect more money to return for profitability of the organization, for the shareholder. They expect more return when they invest a lot like AI industry. So I would highlight that we need to have a common goal of shared prosperity for everyone in the country, not just Thailand, but in our global society, that any research in the future for the AI, you should have the idea of empathy, ethics, and the model that works for everyone, the model that not forget anyone, exclude anyone in this kind of business model. And if we can have that kind of framework, then AI will unlock huge potential for everyone. Remember the graph that I showed you earlier on. We have huge potential in our next generation. They just don't have enough resource at the moment, but they are very capable human beings that they definitely need to have our ideas that they are part of the future. So that's the key. And the next slide, I couldn't resist to put this quote, which I know many people here already saw this quote, that Jeffrey mentioned that in the future, maybe we need to put something inside our development of AI to make sure that they can, see human as the future. The coexistence between human and AI is something that we need to have in mind when we develop this. And the next one, in terms of research, we need to put a lot more research in how we can bring AI into education system. There are already many frameworks out there, like the OECD in this slide, they developed this AI literacy framework that put together existing literacy that we have already before we have AI. How can we connect that together and have this kind of research program that put this kind of framework in our education policy, curriculum, assessment? That's the only way we can bring that to the classroom and to the learning opportunity. And that is still in the drawing board. We can talk more about the next slide, about what we at EEF and KBTG already work on. And I think PP already mentioned about these Future You apps. And there's booths out there that anybody who interested in to know more, you can dig more in that exhibition outside. But we want to make sure that any school across Thailand, any children across the country who don't have enough teacher, don't have access to the high quality counselor, they can talk to their AI or their future self with the smart conversation, with the conversation that can unlock their ideas, unlock their self, to see their future, to identify what is their inspiration to go to school next day, to find the opportunity to fight their obstruction and find a way to graduate in any career pathway that they want to go. So this is something that AI can help at the moment. And lastly, I would like to mention that currently we work in a number of nationwide program that collect high quality data on the background of the student well-being and student learning outcome at the individual level. All this under PDPA regulation. We have good quality data that we can work with AI or any research program in the future that can benefit from the advanced technology back to our investment in our human development in this country. So I'm excited to see the research in the future with the private-public partnership for AI and for the equitable education for anyone.
Oh, thank you so much. So Dr. Krayot addressed about the partnership and the 5 key considerations in people, data, model, ethics, and empathy. I think that one will be very nice for people to understand and apply for their organization. And what about Dr. Shaipat? Can you share your opinion on this?
Yeah, I completely agree that intersection between human and AI is super important. We can use AI technology to improve human life, or we can do what PP said, that study interaction between human and AI. But one of the direction that I think is super interesting is what we call science of intelligence. And intelligence in this case, when we talk about intelligence, people usually think that it belongs to human. But actually, animals also have different kind of intelligence, and computer also have intelligence. And if you look at the history, you will see that artificial intelligence has been founded since 1956. But back then, people think about intelligence as something that they want to build from vacuum, from nothing, right? But people like Jeff Hinton on the right upper corner, Demis Hassabit on the left lower corner, was the one who actually studied human brain. So brain scientists has something to do with, they can draw inspiration from these studies and trying to build even better AI. But AI can be used as a model to understand human intelligence as well. So from the scientific perspective, we need to have more of the study in terms of how to understand intelligence from both human and AI perspective. And this is one of the examples, the Center for Brain, Mind, and Machine at MIT. They're trying to build a community of scientists who study from biology, computer science, education. We just talk about, whether neuroscience has an impact on education as well, right? So I hope to see more of that.
That's very nice. So I would like to have Dr. David's opinion about future research, the one that with the biggest impact in your area. Can you share on that?
Well, I think Dr. Krayot covered it already about AI.
Or AI?
Yeah.
Okay, great. And the last part, I think right now everyone already know the contents about lifelong learning. So I would like Dr. Chaipat to share the key takeaway in your opinion.
I think this day people talk about AI a lot and how it would have an impact on human and whether that would replace human. I think personally, it's all about human that we're talking about right now. That what is human learning, right? So this is a quote from Richard Feynman, and he said that the difference between good student and a great one is that a good student will concern about the outcome, but the great one would fascinated by the process of learning. So if we use ChatGPT this day, right, or any large language model, you shouldn't just focus on getting the right answer. It doesn't really matter. Every time that you use anything, it should improve your learning, improve your ability to learn even better. You should feel that you become a more capable human, right? If you focus on that, no matter what tools you use, it doesn't really matter, and it will not replace you. But if you don't focus on the process of learning itself, which is just focus on the outcome, then you will be easily replaced by some other thing, right? I also really like one of the books that I always recommend people to read is the book called The Most Human Human. And in this book, the author was participating in Turing test. If you know, Turing test is the test that, I think people here would know Turing test. But what is fascinating is the person was participating as a person on the other side of the machine. They're competing with the machine and trying to talk to the person on the other end, trying to say, I'm the human, What would be the kind of sentence that I would just say to you and you know already that I'm the human? So having this kind of system would force me to think, what is the most human quality that we can have? So that's the key takeaway that I want to.
Thank you so much. What about Dr. David? Can you share your key takeaway?
So I'd like to give a takeaway message about the importance of diversity of experience, like having a Farang working in Thailand. And this is related to lifelong learning as well. So uniformity of learning or dress or behavior is convenient for control. For example, in many Thai schools or factories or menial jobs and so forth. And such activities have traditionally involved rote learning and memorization. But the modern economy has more need for creativity and innovation. So we need human resources with diversity of thought. And this is particularly important for physical science and engineering in Thailand. We can't just study the local life forms, but we have to compete. Anytime we do research, we're competing with the whole world. And we don't have the resources to compete with developed nations by brute effort. But we can develop important ideas by thinking like no one else in the world. For example, our team proposed to China for developing a space instrument for the Chang'e 7 mission to the moon. And there are proposals from all around Asia, including 4 proposals from Thailand. And ours was the only one that they accepted from all of Asia because they liked our scientific objectives. We're proposing to measure high energy electrons in the long term for the first time, and they were wowed by our science. And even though we don't have any experience in Thailand about space technology, they accepted our proposal and helping us along to start the process of Thailand joining the Space Technology Club. Another thing I'd like to advise is to avoid inbreeding. So tell your own students or protege to go out and work with somebody else, learn something new, and still keep in touch so we can learn from each other. And then we should look for people with different backgrounds and experience to add to our own team's capabilities, even if they make us feel slightly uncomfortable. So they could be people from a different nationality or a different field of study, or lifelong learners who just joined our field. So give them a try.
Okay. May I have key takeaway from Dr. Grayot?
Yep. I think every time our global society going through industrial revolution, for AI, I think this is the 5th industrial revolution that we are going through it now. We will have social pain all the time. There will be mass unemployment. There will be social unrest. There will be so many things that we need to solve later on. So if we don't want this digital revolution or this AI revolution to recreate another cycle of social pain, unrest, political crisis in the future, we really need to put this idea about shared prosperity, equitable access to AI in mind from the beginning. We can have a longer term in terms of return of profitable activity or anything that any investment require in a longer horizon, and make sure that we have a broader base for people to benefit from AI. Only with that kind of idea, I borrow this kind of framework from the OECD that if we want that to not to happen, education system need to wake up now. Need to really put this kind of reform in place from early childhood development through college and to lifelong learning. That's the only way we can all benefit from AI, and that's the only way the whole society can, don't repeat the same mistake in the previous 4 times of industrial revolution. And that's the key takeaway that I would like anyone that have any ability to make a difference to really follow this kind of experience.
Yeah, before the end for this session, I would like to borrow the poem from Nelson Mandela. He's mentioned about education, which is the most powerful weapon. If we think about our life, I think education is not just to change our own life, but to create a brighter future for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you so very much. Big round of applause for all of our speakers and moderator. Thank you so very much. Truly a very, very important topic, and that is education.